All right, we are back at it with a brand new episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast after taking a little holiday break and posting some encore episodes. I'm your host, Tim Dill, along with my dog, Charlie, and we are both grateful to bring you a really great, candid, and emotional conversation with Adam Roth of Grizfolk, who recently released a 5-track EP back in October entitled Way On Out. And this is Adam's personal space invading rocker dog.
My dog, I have a dog named Penny. She's a German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix. She's a rescue from San Bernardino, California. When I rescued her, I walked in and I said, which dogs, it was a high kill shelter out in San Bernardino. And I said, which dogs are you gonna, which dogs are the first ones to go? Because they had to, unfortunately, euthanize dogs every day.
Right.
And so they just kind of pointed to this whole row, and it was really tough to make the decision. And the decision was made pretty quick, honestly. I don't know where the decision came from. I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, this is the dog that's coming with me. And something about her ears freaking, one of them kind of flopped over. I was like, come on out, And
What brought you to the shelter that particular day?
that particular day, I was working with a group. I can't remember if it was Wags and Walks. I was working with a few different people at the time. I don't even know if it was a particular group. I think it was just someone I was friends with. I knew that I wanted to adopt some dogs. I was fostering dogs at the time
Mm-hmm.
from this shelter in particular, and there was a few different. A friend of mine was more involved, but she would pull these dogs out regularly, and we would just rehome them, and I would foster them for a few weeks at a time. I was living in Venice Beach at the time, and it was just I would help find homes, and there was they would do whatever channel, whatever means necessary. We would find a new owner or a forever home for these dogs. And this particular dog I pulled out, I was planning on fostering her, and I fell in love with her, and we've just been inseparable ever since. Yeah,
Now,
her name's Penny Muffins.
Penny Muffins?
Penny Muffins, yeah. I don't know what.
Was there any meaning to that?
Not really. No, it was just that was her last name that kind of came attached to her.
Do you have any idea of her age?
She was about a year when she was dropped off. So now she's approximately 8 years old.
Yeah.
But there was some issues. I could see why she was dropped off. She doesn't understand personal space, which I actually love. So she is just kind of all over you all the time. You could push her away, and she was just like, "Nope, I'm all over you." She has a bit of leash aggression. She does like other dogs. She has dog friends, but she's a little territorial, and she has some anxiety.
Yeah.
But I love her just the way she is. So.
Yeah, she seems sweet. I love what you post on social media. She's such a beautiful dog. She really seems to appreciate music and you and your singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sweet to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of music and going back again, 7 years, were you in a good place to adopt her? Did you have a support system for when you went on the road and when you went on tour that, she was cared for, or was that something you kind of had to figure out as you went?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I would have when I went on the road, she would stay with friends. I would have friends. I had a friend who would just house sit for me, and he would actually come and just live at my house with her for the entire time I was gone.
Hmm.
We haven't done a lot of touring like that, for a while. But yeah, I've had some amazing friends throughout my touring career that have been there for me. That has definitely been a struggle in the past. I had another dog when I was touring a lot more. I had another dog. Her name was Roxy, and this was right around the time we signed to Virgin Records and started touring quite a bit. And we just weren't. I just wasn't expecting the amount of touring we were doing at the time. where we were gone most of the year. It felt like we'd come home and then we would leave again. And I ended up giving the dog to my mom, which was really sad. And I remember when she passed away, I just walked around on the beach for hours and cried. And, it's a sad thing to have to part ways with a dog for work purposes. But at the time, that's what I had to do. So,
Yeah. It's nice to see that Roxy, your mom was able to take care of her, bringing her up. It's funny, back in 2014, you've got a great post where you brought her on stage in San Francisco at the Great American Music Hall. What was
yeah.
the context to that?
We were on tour. I think it must have been a short tour. But we brought her on tour, and I was like, this would be a great opportunity to just bring her on stage. She was backstage. Yeah, I just remember that venue. I think the Grateful Dead had a history of playing there. It's kind of where they got their start, and just a historical moment for us. And I was just like, you know what? I'm bringing her on stage with me, and yeah, I'll never forget that day. She didn't love it. It's pretty awkward for her, but yeah, it was just a quick moment. Brought her out, and brought her backstage.
And I couldn't get a good look at her. Was that another Shepherd mix?
Yeah, she was a shepherd. I'm not sure what her mix was, but I did the DNA swab with my current dog, and that's how I found. I'm trying to remember the name of the company.
And what was her
Uh,
mix? You mentioned the German Shepherd, Aussie Shepherd. And was it just those two, and then like
that was
15%
it.
Superman? Oh, that was it.
That
Oh,
was it. Yeah, and I get emails all the time. Trying to remember the company name, but
it's all right. Until they
yeah,
sponsor, we don't need to give them
I was
any.
about to say. Yeah, yeah, we don't want to do too much free promotion here, but yeah, she's an Australian German Shepherd mix, and sometimes she has spots on her tongue.
Yeah,
So some people say she's got chow in her because of that, but I've heard conflicting reports about the spots. They're like birthmarks,
yeah.
freckles, if you will.
I'm not sure myself, but I did.
Yeah.
There's a funny picture of her in the backseat of your car with their tongue out, and
Mm.
you can clearly see the the spots. So going back a year ago, on the sixth anniversary of your Gotcha Day, of Penny's Gotcha Day, which was August 25th, you wrote a song for her and performed a song for her on banjo. And
Hmm.
lo and behold, it goes viral. You get over 1 million views, you get 40,000 likes, you get over 900 comments. It's funny, I just saw it probably 2, 3 weeks ago for the first time. And that was like, oh, let me check out, Grizfolk, let me check out Adam. He's a
Mm.
dog guy, let's get him on the show. But I'm late to this
Cool.
party. Is this something that took off immediately?
So I recorded that video, a year ago on the day after whatever the anniversary of adopting her, and I posted it on my personal account actually over a year ago, and it was, just a personal thing. I was like, hey guys, check this out. And then this year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna post this on the Grizfolk account. And within hours, it was just like people were sharing it. I was just kind of blown away, honestly. I mean, the social media thing is really strange, because the things that I would think would go viral don't ever go viral, and then the thing that it's not, it's just kind of an off the cuff song that I wrote. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I think it's great that it raises awareness for the dogs that are sitting there in the shelters that need a home, and if anything was to go viral, I think this was a very important piece that made its way into other people's hearts and minds. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that.
Well, not to discount that whatsoever, but as an artist, I have to ask, do you have the least bit of resentment that, to your point, that something that was more to what you're doing as a living and what the band's all about shot to viral fame?
Yeah, it's just yeah, I have kind of struggled with it because we put so much into our art. A lot of times we'll put so much into just one post and then no one sees it,
Yeah.
and it's fine though, because I think this is it kind of shows you this is where we're at. People want that human connection. They want to see something real. They want to hear a real story, and they want to get to know you. That's so important, and I think I've taken a lot from this experience, and I'm putting it into my music, being more personal with my creativity and with my music moving forward, I think is really important.
Yeah.
It's a overall, I'm really, really happy that that it happened, and I'm grateful for everyone that shared that video.
Now, I browsed some of the comments. Like I said, there's over 900 comments. Did any one in particular strike you?
I think, there's a few where people they've lost their pet recently, and this connected with them in a way and brought tears to their eyes. And there's some people that have exclaimed that this made them tear up, and
Hmm.
it's just blows my mind that something I did that was sort of off the cuff would make somebody cry. And I think it's just I'm kind of just overwhelmed when I look at the comments and like I wish I could respond to all of them. I actually at one point I was like, all right, I'm gonna respond to everybody, but I have a newborn baby and I'm like juggling career and stuff, and so but one day I will respond to everybody. But I think the ones where it hits people in the heart and they're letting me know that this really touched them, I think that just means so much to me.
Yeah. Well, it seems the gist of your tune was this old adage of who rescued who. And I'm
Mm.
curious on your end, what were you rescued from?
So I've been through some traumatic things in the past since I rescued her. My father passed,
Hmm.
and yeah, she's seen me at my worst. I had to get sober. I had a hard time with drugs and alcohol. Got sober about 6.5 years ago. Right around the time I adopted her, I was pretty bad. I was doing a lot of drugs, staying up really late. Wasn't a great time to be a pet owner, but I was doing the best I could, and so she was there for me like during this really dark time and also this time where I was getting sober, and it was like an amazing time, because
Hmm.
and she was there for me, to support me through that journey of getting sober, which is a day-to-day thing. And then in 2019, or 2018, 2019, I found out my father he had terminal pancreatic cancer, and then so I decided, I'm gonna move towards. My dad was in Florida at the time, so I decided I'm gonna move to Nashville to be closer to him.
Hmm.
So she was with me for that year and a half where he was sort of passing, and I just remember so many moments where I'd FaceTime with my dad or whatever, and it was just like watching him wither away, and then I'd hang up, and then she was there, and it's just funny how dogs, they can kind of sense that something's wrong, and then almost like she was like, yeah, I know something's wrong, but like like I'm here to cheer you up, kind of thing
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
feeling that I got. And definitely she was my emotional support, and I was single at the time. I don't know how I would have done it without her. Honestly, I think I would have been very alone. Just unbelievable how dogs can be a support, your lifeline in a time
Yeah.
in moments like that when you really need them.
Did the simple care for her also help where you had to, you got to get up and out of bed and take her outside? Was that an asset that you did have a living being that was your responsibility outside yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was I knew how important it was to take care of a dog, and I always did my best to be there for her. She's very needy, she always needed me in some capacity, and I think it was good for me to have the responsibility, and especially when I got sober, because it took my mind off of what I was going through, and it put my mind into something positive, like taking care of an animal, and taking her on walks, and making sure she was exercised. She needed a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
So taking her to the dog park, taking her to throw. She loves playing ball, and I love playing ball and frisbee with her. So it always felt like a positive thing to have to take care of her.
Yeah. Well, it's funny now that you mention it, that Aussie Shepherd part of her, that's a very intelligent dog that really needs to be stimulated both physically and mentally. So it really is,
Hmm.
there's a demanding aspect to that particular breed.
Yeah, she loves playing fetch. I mean, she catches the frisbee, she catches the ball. She's really smart. It's crazy. It's like we're locked in, I mean, I hate every time she gets a new gray hair. I'm just like, oh no, I can't think it. That's just I get sad just thinking about
Yeah.
her. They grow old so quickly, It's
Yeah.
It's really hard. That's the hardest part about being a dog owner, is how
Yeah.
quickly they age.
Yeah.
But
Now, another post you had, when every song you write ends up sounding like a love song to your dog. And that made me think of the question, do most people in your inner circle now, family, wife, bandmates, do they share your passion for dogs, or are they rolling their eyes at you?
yeah, I mean my bandmates don't have any dogs, but my wife, she has a dog, and my mom has a dog, and my brother has a dog. My brother has a rescue as well from Alabama. And my family growing up, we always had rescues. There's this amazing story actually about our dog Bob, who's no longer with us. He was my dad's favorite dog, and one day, so we have some land in Alabama, and in Alabama and probably other places, sometimes people just drop dogs off in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And but there was one day when my dad was driving on his four-wheeler down through the property, and this dog comes out into the trail, and he's this white sort of hound dog, young dog, and he kind of said to them in dog mannerism, said, "Hey, like follow me." And so they got off the four-wheeler, they followed the dog down into the woods where his sisters and brothers were trapped in a briar patch, and someone had dropped them off.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like this amazing, they couldn't believe like this dog just led them to his brothers and sisters. So they pulled them all out and found homes for all of them except for Bob and one of the other dogs, I guess. Yeah, so they kept two of the dogs, and this dog, Bob, he was just one of the smartest dogs. He would look at you and you could just tell he was a different thing.
Yeah.
Just sometimes seem like they're more intuitive than we are.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't doubt if they are.
Yeah. Anyways, to answer your question, I think we're all dog people in my realm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you have a new EP out, Way On Out. Was that just released first week of October?
Yep, it's we just released it first week of October. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. I love the songwriting on this one. Just excited to be putting out music and to be an artist in this new
Yeah.
great crazy world where your dog video goes viral and that's how people find out about your music.
So you did have a post featuring your song Meteorite, which is about spending time with the one you love toward the end of days. And your comment was, my wife is going to be mad when she sees this, because it insinuated that you chose the dog. And in looking at it, I was like, I got to see if your wife responded. And sure enough, she posted, well, you can't deny true love.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, she knows I love her. We got married last October. We just had our 1 year wedding anniversary this past week, actually.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, but yeah, she helps me out so much with my dog, actually, because I still travel a bit. I'm gonna have some tour dates coming up in the new year, and she'll be there, quite a bit to help out. So she's very supportive of the dog relationship. And she knows that we've been through a lot together too. So
Yeah.
it's I'm very very grateful for her support.
And is your wife's dog Gus?
Gus, he's a miniature poodle. He's a purebred. He's not a rescue. He's a friend of hers gave him to her for as a wedding gift.
It's an
And
interesting gift.
yeah,
You know, could have been a
yeah,
coffee maker, but went for the dog.
yeah, yeah. They have a very interesting relationship because he's smaller and yeah, they're just constantly playing. They do the mouth
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
swords
yeah.
or whatever. So that's an interesting thing to witness. A lot of dog noises happening around here, and it's never a dull moment.
I bet. Well, I wind up every show with what I call the zoomies, and that's just five mostly frivolous questions. The first one, the most frivolous of all, is, do you kiss Penny on the mouth?
I've kissed Penny on the mouth. Yes. Um, Not always, but yeah, I have no problem kissing her on the mouth.
Great. That's. I usually say that's the correct answer. Question two: does your dog have a theme song? And I know you've written a song for your dog, but I'm thinking more of a theme song of like, what would Penny's walk-up music to the plate be, or her red carpet music?
Hmm. Probably Danger Zone.
From Kenny Loggins, the Top Gun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because, she likes to fly. She's a jumper, you know. She's, yeah, she's a pilot. She's sort of a pilot, I guess you could say.
All right, that works for me. Question three. I know Penny doesn't go on tour with you. You mentioned that Roxy at a time went on tour with you. If there was a tour rider for the dog, what would they want on it?
Mm. Peanut butter. She likes sweet potatoes. What else? I mean, she's huge on peanut butter. I'll just say that. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
that's really all she needs.
Okay. Question four is, do you have a dog voice? Do you go head voice with your dog?
Yeah, it sort of sounds like I don't know. I can't remember. It's
It's-
she. I call her like poopy head, and I rarely call her Penny. Actually, it's more like poopy head or booby or I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
par for the course
voice.
for us dog owners.
Yeah, voice changes for sure though.
And I'll let you go after this last question. The final question is there a dog service or organization that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I know Wags and Walks does a lot of good work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wags
I
and
know
Walks.
they're
Yeah,
LA, Nashville.
yeah, I like them a lot. So I'd like to give them a shout out for sure.
Great, great.
Yeah.
I see them often in my social feed, and I know they do a lot of good work. So good choice. Well, Adam, I'm sure this will be the first of many dog-oriented interviews you partake in, but I appreciate you giving me your time for your first one.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you reaching out to us. And, it means a lot to me. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.